Hey guys, welcome back to the James Bond Show for our You Only Live Twice 5-minute quickie review. This episode is brought to you by Sean Connery's Japanese wig and makeup. Okay, so on a budget of $11.3 million, taking $111 million at the box office, this is the fifth James Bond film. It's the first one with a 2-year break between films, from Thunderball in 65 to now, of course, You Only Live Twice in 1967. I guess a reason for that is because this Bond film is so epic. So what's the story? The story is Spectre are stealing Russian and American spaceships. They're doing this so they can then ransom the US and American government for big dollars, or else they're going to keep stealing the spaceships, go undetected, and then start World War III. So that's their plan. It's a pretty simple, basic plot. It goes completely away from the Ian Fleming novel. This is in fact the first Bond film to go really far away from the novel. They've only used a few character names, some locations and things like that from the novel. Other than that, it's a really made-up story. Roald Dahl, of course, the famous children's book writer, he's writing the screenplay on this one. So Bond is in China in the pre-title sequence, and he's in bed with a Peking duck-flavoured little chickie babe, a Chinese chickie babe nonetheless. So he's getting his Chinese on. She jumps out of the bed, hits a button, bed shoots up, little Asians coming, they shoot the bed up, it looks like James Bond's dead. Cut to the credit sequence where You Only Live Twice song is absolutely gorgeous, and it's sung by Nancy Sinatra. After that, we soon learned that James Bond is alive and well. That was all faked so he could go about his mission and Spectre would think he's dead. He ends up in Japan, he teams up with Aki and he teams up with Tiger Tanaka. I don't want to go too much on about the story. This review is for people that have seen the film, and this is for people that haven't seen the film. So I don't want to go too much into all the plot details with it. But Bond goes off to Japan and he's basically got to find out where these rockets are coming down. And the British Secret Service believe it's in Japan. And he's got to do this before the Americans and the Russians basically cause nuclear war. Okay, so let's get into the aspects in the film. There's the plot. Let's look at some parts of the film that I think are absolutely mind-blowing and some things that are a little bit of a disappointment for me. First of all, I want to say, before I go into those details, I want to say that I love this film. You Only Live Twice was directed by Lewis Gilbert. He did an incredible job. His beautiful sweeping panning shots, his wide-angle shots, are gorgeous. You can see there's a new director on board who's got more of a modern flair with the camera than Terence Young had. His shot composition within his editing as well, everything's moving and fluent, where it's not as static as the work of Terence Young from Dr. No, From Russia Love and Thunderball. So the film moves at a beautiful pace. Japan looks absolutely gorgeous in this film, especially scenes shot with Little Nelly. Now, Little Nelly is Q's gadget in the film, and Little Nelly is seen right here, little toy Little Nelly there. Little Nelly is amazing. There's a bit of model miniature work here. It's dated a little bit, but it's still really cool, and it's a lot of fun. John Barry's score in this film is absolutely beautiful. He's got the old classic 007 theme here, belting away across the Little Nelly fight. So what else happens, guys? Okay, so eventually we come to the greatest film set, in my opinion, in film history. It cost a budget, out of the $11 million budget for the film, $1 million went into the building by Ken Adam, his incredible production design work and his team, into building an actual freaking lair, volcano lair, and it is amazing. Now, disgustingly, back in the day, 1967, the Oscars snubbed You Only Live Twice. They snubbed Ken Adam, and the film did not even receive a production design nomination. one of the worst decisions in Oscar voting history. That film should have been nominated and it should have won. This thing houses frigging space rockets, monorails, Spectre control rooms, everything. Couple of problems I have with the film. Certain things don't make sense. So one of Blofeld's henchmen or henchwomen, number 11, I think she was, Helga Brandt, played by the beautiful and now late Karen Dorr, who's passed away, unfortunately. She teams up with Bond. She's going to help him escape for some bit of money that he's going to get from selling plans. She's in an aeroplane. He's in the back of the plane with her. He thinks they're flying off to Germany or somewhere to escape Spectre, and he's going to protect her. And she's got a freaking parachute on in the plane. And he doesn't know this? Then suddenly he's sitting there. Why would he be in the back? Why isn't Bond flying the friggin' plane? And his hands are there, trapped by a bit of wood that comes across. She jumps out, bye, Mr. Bond, and escapes. Dude, you didn't see the big parachute on her? You're a secret agent. That parachute wasn't secret. So I've got a problem with that. Also, at the end of the film, sorry guys, bit of a spoiler alert here. At the end of the film, when Bond is in the water, basically a big sub comes up and Bond gets picked up by this big sub and he's in there with Kissy Suzuki. Little tidbit for you, her name is never mentioned in this Bond film. Kissy Suzuki, so her name is never mentioned in this Bond film. They look up, they see Blofeld's lair all blowing up, and now suddenly the thing's volcanic. Then there's all lava coming down. This is a prime example of when the Bond producers just make mistakes, and they made bad decisions which kind of hinder the film. And you think, wait a minute, there was a rocket in there and there's a pussycat running around. Well, I'll tell you what, that pussycat, Blofeld's pussycat, he's a pussycat now. So I have a little problem with that. But overall, this film is brilliant. Now, before I finish this review, let's be honest. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Sean Connery. Sean Connery cracked the shits with Eon, with Cubby and Harry Saltzman over money and did not think he was being paid enough. So during production, he was actually in a toilet and a little Japanese photographer comes up over the top of the toilet while Connery's trying to take a poopy doopy, and he's like, oh, me take a photo of you. Why you do shit? Because it's a famous shit. Ching, ching, ching. And Connery's like, oh, get away. So that pissed him off and Connery quit. So that was it. Connery was out. He wasn't coming back for Honor Majesty's Secret Service. But you could see during this film, this guy did not care. And he also said that, he said to United Artists, if Harry Saltzman comes on set while I'm acting, I'm going to stop work. And he did that. He absolutely did that. Another little tidbit before I forget too, is The Rock's maternal granddad is in this film. He's the big guy fighting Bond with the couch fight at Osato's office building. So there you go, there's a little tidbit. But so Connery's performance kind of ruins the film. You can see he's bored as crap, but to be honest, the dialogue by Roald Dahl, it's not the best screenplay. There's not a lot of meat on it. It's moving constantly. There's not a lot of meat, so there's not a lot for Connery to do. But he still looks bored in a lot of scenes. He must have had fun with Akiko Wakabayashi, who plays Aki, because he seems more lively in scenes with her. Anyway, guys, I love this film. It is a brilliant Bond film. It's the epitome of big Bond action adventure, and I give it 4 out of 5 Kajeevie stars. Until next time, guys, keep on bonding.